Darren Lang, and he is a founder and chief exec at Kelper & Co. So over to you, Darren.
Thank you, Ellie, and thank you everybody for taking the time to be here. It's good to meet all of you, and I'm looking forward to meeting you face to face very soon, hopefully. But in short, rewinding the clock back quite a few years, I decided to become a chartered accountant. I always say for my sins, because yeah, who wants to be in the accounting space when you can be in the learning space? And I had a really good time at university, and I stayed on also for my sins to lecture, and I lectured accounting and finance. And I loved seeing the transformation between A and Z, but then I really wanted to get into the digital space. How can we actually digitize this, automate this, make this fast, but also make it meaningful to the user? And so I left the lecturing post and I went into the real world of work, and I got a big shock because I remember sitting around the audit room with my first peers, and we were auditing this real estate investment trust, and they were all manipulating data and using fancy formulas and functions on Microsoft Excel. And I always tell this story, but I felt so scared. I didn't understand how to use this tool called Excel, which was then the #1 auditing tool. And so I wasn't given an idea of what skills I needed in order to align with the business goals. I wasn't given the skills in order to align with what my KPIs were. And as a result, also, I didn't know how to build that bridge between the current state and the desired state. How do I, what training do I need in order for me to actually progress in my role here, and also for me to progress personally? And so when I finished my articles, I opened up a training business in Excel, and we focused on making people productive and efficient. But while I was doing that, and we trained thousands of people around the world, and it was really lovely, we had a lot of fun. What we started to notice was, because we were working with human resource business partners, as well as learning and development heads, they didn't know what the resources were which they could recruit into their businesses, purely because they were so busy. They just had so much to do. And also they were struggling with skill identification and skill analysis. And so Kelper was born. And I'm going to swap between a few screens today, but Kelper, in essence, what we do, so just tell me when you can see my screen, but Kelper was born out of the need of the market and the need of the manager as well as the employee. And what Kelper is about is, we love space. We're big space nerds. So if you look at the Kepler Space Telescope many, many years ago, can you guys see me, by the way, or have I frozen?
We can see and hear you, but there's no visuals, Darren. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you're up now.
You got it. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool. So what Kepler is about is, as I said, we're big space nerds, but we deeply care about what Kelper did. And Kelper was a telescope launched into space in order to focus on discovering new worlds, looking at a very tiny piece of sky, and it was ultra focused, but brought back incredible data. And that's what we're about, setting those audacious goals with our clients, but also being ultra focused, bringing back incredible data on which they can make decisions. So this is empirical evidence on which they can make decisions. And so one thing that we noticed in the space, and I'm being quite bold here because I'm not in South Africa, speaking to South Africans at the moment, so I can't put other logos over here, but the current state in the business at the moment is so many different pieces of software, so many different pieces of technology. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to manufacture the employee development cycle. We care about the employee and we care about the development of human capital, but at the same time recognizing that that human development has to align with business goals. And what does that mean? It means that while everybody has an LMS or an LXP, what comes before the LXP? What comes before you actually learn? And that is skill identification, rigorous skill analysis, both behavioral as well as role-based. Understanding also how you can have performance reviews. How do you interpret your performance on a system? And thereafter, the feedback loop. What do I do now? How do I iterate? What about interval reinforcement? How do I become better? And that's what Kelper is about. In addition, we deeply care, because we deeply care about the human capital development cycle, we also care about career mobility. How do you track and identify up-and-coming talent in your business today based on empirical evidence so that you can make those hiring decisions? In any case, that's what Kelper is. On average, in the US at least, between $7 and $8 billion is wasted every year because human resource partners are using so many different systems. And we want to solve for that also by using Kelper. So I'm going to send you to a different screen now quickly. I don't have much time. So this is I'd love to hear your feedback on my 10-minute pitch, but here it goes. So I'm going to start off by taking you through our system very, very, very quickly. And I even prepared a click-through, which is called the 10-minute pitch. Okay, so here we go. So I know I've got less than 10 minutes. I'm first going to show you what we deeply care about is giving management a holistic view of the organization. Now, I've taken you to the end desired state, so I'm going to work backwards with you. Usually I take you through the system, but I'm going to show you the end result. The reason is we want management to be able to have a holistic heat map of the organization to identify the strengths and weaknesses in the business. And the ability to do that should be also through a holistic, as I said, a broadened view, but also through a granular view. And so what we've done here is we've been able to build a management dashboard, a human resource dashboard, or a C-suite dashboard, which gives you a full understanding and view of the business, as well as of your learning, your development. And in addition to that, how can you correlate your learning and your development with your performance? So in other words, how do we correlate my sales metrics at the same time with my learning and development? How do I correlate my staff morale? And how do I dive deep into my staff morale? And how do I identify up and coming talent in my business? How do I do this? What software can I use in order to do this? And we've developed something very unique here at Kelper to do that. And so to go from a very holistic view into a granular view, we take the management into it's their own process. So we customize this platform fully for our customers. So what I want to actually take you into quickly is management can see every person granularly. It's all very wonderful. You can analyze their skills over time. But what really matters here, and Ali and I were discussing this in quite a lot of detail, is how do we align this with performance management? Because now you've got your learning and development, and you've got your sales metrics, and you've got all these HR systems. How do you bring them all together? And that's what we've solved for in Kelper. I don't want to take you through the whole system, but just in short, a manager would be able to, let me just move the Zoom bar, it's in my way. A manager would be able to onboard themselves very, very quickly. We track their experience, their qualifications, and then what we allow is, and what we solve for is a full skill identification engine. That's our artificial intelligence engine, or using your own skills framework that you require. And we can take you into that more deeply if we have a conversation. But what really matters is the skills that matter for the human and for the department. But more than that is also we allow for, so I just want this to load, for teams ratings. So how do you rate your team? How do you have performance management in a more customized way, in a more personalized way? So I'm just going to click you through this quickly. And then lastly, from a learner perspective, what we really learned over time was, and what most organizations look at, is your behavioral skills. They call them soft skills, but role-based skills and behavioral skills are two separate things. They need to be siloed, but they still need to work together. So how do you analyze those skills, and how do you provide content and learning in order to bridge the skills gap between those different skills? How do you allow a learner to choose their own skill development journey? And that's what we've provided for here in Kelper. So I want to quickly click through this. I should have actually skipped all of this, but I'm going to jump through this quickly just to show you. We've got a full behavioral analysis. This is completely customizable according to the scenarios in your business. We deeply care about human behavior science, and our business is underpinned by human behavior science. How do you motivate your users to learn? How do you motivate your users to act? And that really, really matters, because we don't want just a piece of technology to be a paperweight. We want to marry technology and human behavior. And I'm not going to have time to take you through it into too much detail, but just from a learner perspective, once the learner has gone through this full skills analysis, our engine will map the content that is prioritized to the learner based on their skills. We've got partnerships with the MOOCs, such as Go One Learning is one of our big partners, as well as we're platform agnostic. We offer a learning experience platform to our clients, we do, but if our clients already have a learner platform, we are conscious of the fact that they already have one, and migration costs are expensive, and so we are platform agnostic. We want to enhance the experience for business and optimize their spend and optimize their skills allocation. So that was my 10-minute pitch. I need to work on it, I know, but I do appreciate all of your time, and thank you for being here. And I hope to speak to all of you soon. I know that Ali's going to be sending through decks and contact information. So please feel free to get in touch with us for a pilot.
Thanks, Darren. That was great.